What is it that makes a place truly feel like home? Is it the workout class you never miss, your favorite neighborhood coffee shop, or maybe it's the people who show up every day and create a sense of community? And this week is a first. For the very first time, we're taking Sweat Community outside of Colorado because as this episode airs, I'm actually spending the week in San Diego. So I thought, who better to help us explore the city than somebody who knows it inside and out? Today's guest is Sammy DeLaura, a luxury realtor with the Oppenheim Group in San Diego. Sammy and I actually grew up just a few miles apart in Golden, Colorado, and she was even my brother's prom date. While our roots are the same, our paths took us in very different directions. Today, Sammy is giving us a behind-the-scenes look at luxury real estate, what it's really like working with the Oppenheim Group, whether those Netflix real estate shows are anything like real life, how San Diego compares to Denver, and of course, all the wellness spots, restaurants, beaches, and hidden gems she thinks that I and you should experience. And if you're listening from San Diego, I'd love to hear from you. Send me a message on Instagram at Sweat Community and tell me your favorite workout classes, coffee shops, or hidden gems, and I might just check them out while I'm here. All right, let's dive in. Sammy, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited that you're here.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. This is so exciting.
This is so much fun. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what it was like growing up in Golden, Colorado?
Oh my gosh. Yes, of course. We go way back. I am born and raised from Golden. My family has been in Golden since the 80s in the same house, which was incredible. And yeah, we were just a few miles apart. Actually, Shams was one of my best friends growing up. And for senior year prom, I remember hearing that someone else was going to ask me, and I basically threatened Shams. I told him that he had until 5 o'clock that day to ask me to be his date. Really, I have no idea what I would have done if he didn't. But fast forward, he comes around 4 o'clock and brings me some flowers and asks me to go to prom with him. Ever since then, we've honestly been really good friends. And he has just been a pillar of a friend for over almost 20 years now.
That's
Since we
crazy.
graduated high school. Yeah, which is absolutely nuts. Yeah, Golden is in my blood. I go back often. I have family that still lives there. I absolutely love it. It gives me my mountain fix when I've had too much of a beach fix.
Which who would think that there'd be too much of a beach?
I know, right? Yep, balance. No, but for sure.
Yeah, that's easy to say when you're landlocked, but
Definitely. Definitely. It's so funny.
Oh my gosh. Did you ever imagine being born and raised in Golden? Did you ever think that you would end up living in San Diego?
Oh my gosh, good question. Honestly, yes. And that's only because when I was younger, my grandparents lived out in Huntington Beach and for spring break would come out and we would stay with them. I absolutely loved it. I knew I always wanted to move to California. I also had very real moments where I saw all of the money and things that were in California and I realized Golden is incredible, so down to earth, but at the same time, if I wanted to make good money and a lot of it, I needed to put myself where all of the money was. And for me, that was always California.
So
Yeah.
when was it that you were like, okay, the time is right? Was there a specific story or a moment that triggered that this is the time to make it happen?
Yeah. I was working for a Denver based company at the time. That company had decided to open up branches in a number of different states across the US. There was an opportunity specifically for one area out in Southern California. I applied for it. I ended up getting it unexpectedly. I was the youngest manager at the time. I think I was 22 or 23. And the company relocated me. I got to hire a team, and that's when I first lived and worked in Southern California.
Oh my gosh, you were a baby.
Yes, I was. I was such a baby. It's wild to think about it now. Absolutely
Right?
crazy.
And at that time, you probably thought you were so grown and moving to California, like this big job.
Right? It was so funny. And I had no idea when I looked at the map of Southern California, this role was based out of Fashion Island in Orange County. And the only place I knew people was in LA and Manhattan Beach. I ended up living in Manhattan Beach and commuting to Orange County every day. And that commute one way was about an hour and a half. But on certain
Oh,
days when traffic was bad, it was 3 hours. And I did that
no.
commute for a long time. So it was absolutely crazy.
That is That's terrible. Like traffic, especially
Terrible.
California traffic. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. No, 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 no. Wow.
Yes.
So Were you
Mhm.
a realtor when you got there? How did that path come?
To be honest, I am one of those people that had a number of different jobs. I took what I liked in each role, and then whatever I didn't like, I made sure that in the next role, I didn't necessarily have to deal with that or learn from the previous experience. I worked in commercial real estate for a period of time after I opened this store in California. An opportunity was presented to me to work in hotels. I did that for a very short stint. I realized I was kind of hitting a ceiling. I needed to do something else. I needed to get more education. So I decided to go get my MBA, and I applied for an MBA program out of Chicago. Got into that, ended up picking up and moving. Then while I was in Chicago, I actually ended up getting recruited for real estate by a former colleague of mine for a small family owned team out of Rancho Santa Fe in San Diego. And I was like, I think this is a good opportunity. I loved homes. I was always studying the market. HGTV was always on. I wasn't someone that necessarily wanted to do remodeling or interior design. I loved the numbers. I loved the business side of it. So that's when I decided to get my real estate license and moved out with this team. And if you have not been to Rancho Santa Fe in San Diego, it is the mecca of money. Some of the world's richest individuals live in this area, and the average lot size is a minimum of 2 acres. You come across houses that you are just baffled by, and I had the privilege of learning from a family owned and operated team that was actually one of the top producing teams at the time in that area for the first few years of my real estate career, which was incredible. This really gave me the platform and privilege to learn from the best. It was almost like starting in the major leagues versus the minor leagues.
Wow, that right there gives you such a opening into that luxury real estate world. So did you know right away that luxury real estate was where you wanted to be? That's where the money was at? Like,
Good question. I think that's the dream, right? When you start in
mhm.
real estate, anyone you talk to, especially even people who have just joined Oppenheim for the first time or new agents come in and they always say, well, I want to work towards luxury or I want to get into the luxury sector, but it takes time. And I think for me, the pieces really lined up so perfectly.
Yes. Well, now fast forward. Today, you are working with one of the most recognizable luxury brokerages in the country. How did that even happen? How did you end up with the Oppenheim Group?
Crazy, right? I feel like there are
Yeah,
moments.
yeah.
It's wild. There are moments when I'm still like, "This is not real," or when Jason's picture pops up on my phone and
Oh
people
my
see that
gosh.
it's Jason Oppenheim calling my cell phone. I don't think about it anymore, but sometimes when I'm with friends or what have you, they're like, "I cannot believe this." Jason and I got connected through a client of mine. This client had reached out and said, "I think that you need to meet Jason Oppenheim." Funny enough, he's actually getting ready to open up a brokerage out of San Diego. I got connected with him almost immediately, and it was one evening Jason asked me to meet up with him. I met Jason that night, and we ended up walking around the entire San Diego office. At the time, it was just a blank space. Nothing was there. He hadn't built it out, but that night, he actually hired me on the spot. We talked for a while, talked about numbers, talked about goals, and it was a perfect match. It was actually quite serendipitous. I still can't get over it.
My gosh, that is so cool. So you didn't even need to do an application or an interview. The process was just so seamless. It sounds like just amazing.
It was. I feel super grateful because I know that that is not the case, and it was not the case for a lot of people. I think now we have a minimum sales quota that people have to have hit or have sold to even be considered and thrown into our application process. But at the time, I think because the clients that had referred me were luxury clients, and Jason knew that I came from a well-connected network, he knew that that is the type of business that I would be bringing. We just hit it off. I think from a work ethic standpoint, that in-person meeting with Jason was my interview. He hired me there on the spot, and I was the first agent that he brought on to the San Diego office.
But he liked what he saw. He was like, "This is a good fit. I want you on my team." I love it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the San Diego office, what is the culture like there? Is everybody as stylish as they are on TV?
You're so funny. Short answer is no. I actually, that was one of the things I was nervous about when I originally met Jason. I am a tomboy through and through. I do not like dresses. You could not pay me to wear anything skin tight, much less tall heels. But really, the truth is no. If you were to look at all the agents in our office, it's probably 50-50, right? You have 50% of the agents who dress dress as if they were on the show or if they wanted to be on the show, and that's their own prerogative. And then other agents are just more casual. Everyone sits differently on the spectrum, which is nice, but it's definitely different from the cast that's filming.
I mean, that makes sense. On TV, you're going to be full glam. They have people to dress you, do your hair, your makeup, all the things, but that's not every day while you're out selling homes.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So we have to talk about the Netflix show Selling Sunset and Selling Sunset the OC because I know everyone listening is wondering the same thing. So, how accurate are those shows? Like, can we get a little behind the scenes here, the day to day? Can you go into any of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there are pieces of it that are very surreal and then other pieces that are made for TV. So, for example, Jason is our broker, he is our leader, he is very forward, no filter, and he is also no BS. What you see is what you get with him. With other team members, they incorporate maybe a little bit more drama. You'd think that if that kind of drama existed on a level so often and so frequently, the brokerage would not be as successful as it is today because it seems like they fight more than they sell. But I think some of that is really made for TV. And I think some of the cast members, to be honest, are so good in those roles because they are so great at igniting those little fires within each other. There are pieces that are definitely made for TV and then other pieces that are more accurate, like Jason and how he operates his business or what he focuses on, or some of the listings that you see. A majority of those listings are our listings. Some of them are previously sold or currently active, but I would say about 50-50. 50% of it is true to life, and then 50% is made for TV in some capacity or altered, would be my guess. But I obviously am not in that back room doing those edits and what have you.
Yes. Do you think that producers change things up a lot for that drama? Is there scripted stuff?
I think that there are different topics that are given to different team members at different times, but I think that's where the cast members really thrive in being in their own lanes, especially because the cast members are friends and have been doing this for a number of years. They really know how to engage with one another in certain moments or what people are looking for. That's kind of where they excel. But the other piece of that is you're attending these events and you don't sometimes even know who's mic'd or who's not mic'd. And you have these conversations that are just very real and very raw, like you would with a normal agent on the team or if you're catching up with someone. So I think it's hit or miss, but I've never been anywhere where they're sitting there with like cue cards telling them exactly what to say, which is kind of funny.
You were mentioning that you have cross paths with some of the casts, like agents that we see on screen. Is there any collaboration that you've done with anybody from the show?
Yeah, I think I'm one of those unique agents with the Oppenheim Group that will reach out or I interact with a cast member if there's a need. I am not someone who just wants to go be friends with them for their clout or their following that they're growing. I think that they can immediately sniff out who may or may want to be hopping on their bandwagon. It's also really important to feel aligned. I really like and actually work a decent amount with Gio from Selling OC. He is wonderful. He's a senior agent as well, which is really great. And then from the Selling Sunset, which is so interesting because now they kind of have a new cast, right? But before previous cast, I was actually pretty close with Mary. She's sent me a number of referrals, which is really nice. And then Mary and I have done business and a few different social media things together, which has been wonderful. She's a hard worker and she's been around for a long time. But I think it just depends on the team member. There's certain ones I've interacted with a lot because I always am in a business mindset versus ones that I just kind of know or interact with miscellaneously, if that kind of makes sense.
Oh, totally. Do you think that the San Diego office would ever be on the show? Like, how many offices are there? And would you ever want to be on one of the shows?
There's actually a total of 4 offices, 3 in California. We have 1 in LA, 1 in Orange County, 1 in San Diego, and then 1 in Los Cabos. But to be honest, I don't think the San Diego office will ever have a show, even though they have filmed. You will have seen on, I want to say season 2 of Selling OC, they launched the opening of the San Diego office. And then I also think that there's been a few different moments where they have pulled different San Diego agents to different listings. With that being said, too, I actually don't think I would do it. One, I'm just too shy. I don't think it's a fit for me. And then on top of that, I really like the business aspect of this. I think once you get involved in drama and you start to have drama become part of what you're known for, I think it hurts your reputation. I think it hurts your business. And for me, that's all I care about. I'll always do the right thing for the right reason. And I just don't think that the immediate fame that comes from being on the show is worth the long-term gain of being in real estate when you're looking at and hoping to be in real estate for decades. I also just don't think I have enough drama myself, and I think I'm too boring. I'm in a great marriage. I have a baby. I like what I do. So you'll see me in the background, but you will not see me in the show.
I love your take on that. You're like, you know what? I'm too chill. I don't have the drama to make reality TV.
No,
Which
I don't. Right? It's a whole new game. It's fascinating to watch how much time it takes and then the influencing piece that comes with it and the opportunities the cast members get look incredible. But I think from a real estate perspective, you look at a lot of them and there's only a few now that really still primarily do real estate and are successful at it and are good at it, who are 100% dedicated to it versus maybe brand deals or influencing. And I think that that's kind of the difference in what I want versus where they might be going.
Yeah, absolutely. Real estate is your passion. I could totally see how being on the show could kind of take away from that a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think depending on the area in San Diego that you're in, or who you're talking to, or the listing that you're going for, sometimes the show hurts more than helps. It completely depends how you position it and how you leverage its marketing and the reach. But there are some people that I've met that don't want to be featured on the show. They don't want their home on their show for privacy and personal reasons. They absolutely don't want anything to be aired. So it completely depends on who you're talking to and the type of network that you'll have. It's pretty fascinating.
Wow. See, that
Mhm.
surprises me a lot because I feel like if your house gets on that show, then you have a reach that you wouldn't normally get. So I thought there's no way that that wouldn't help sell your house.
No, absolutely. And that's, I think, one thing that the Oppenheim Group can offer that a lot of other brokerages can't is our brand is really globally recognized. The audience and people that you get it in front of is like none other. But I think from a privacy standpoint, it just completely depends. Some people are too private and don't want that.
Mm.
And of course, there are different ways to kind of work around it, right? Like sometimes they can show the house being on a different street than it normally is, or they can show different parts of different houses intertwined with what you think is one house, but really it's a combination of edits of multiple houses in one. Some people are so private. For example, I just worked with some well known influencers and they have such a large following in the millions. And from a privacy standpoint, don't want to have any issues with anyone who may be following them or what have you. So they would never show anything about their personal lives or the intricacies of their home layouts. And I think that makes total sense.
Absolutely. Like for a big safety standpoint, for sure. So, what's something viewers completely misunderstand about luxury real estate? How accurate is the commission conversations? Is that a real portrayal?
I think two things. One, I think that luxury real estate is easy in the sense of you can get your real estate license and jump right into luxury real estate. That's not how it works. I've never seen anyone be successful when they get their license and just think that they can go sell a $4, $5, $6 million house. I also think that often on the TV shows, you see the commission associated with a certain sale, and people just think that that's the commission that we get. What you don't see is the negotiating that happens behind the scenes. You don't see once a buyer has done investigations and if things need to be fixed, the request for repairs that gets negotiated, the altering in the commissions that comes with the changing of that purchase price too. So I think that that's a big thing too, is what you see on TV and the commission associated is not always the commission that we walk away with. On top of that, the brokers always get a cut as well. So you may see one number, but what the actual agent is taking home is a completely different number.
Wow, yes, because the show does not shy away from talking about commissions, and people see that number and think that the realtors are just instantly rich. So
Yeah.
interesting. That number is not what you actually walk away with.
Exactly. There's taxes included, and then there are a number of other things that you have to do because those numbers are large, larger than most. So it just depends on the price point that you're talking about.
Yeah. So if these houses don't sell or if there's a lull in the real estate market, do luxury agents have a steady income?
No, absolutely not. It completely depends on the agent themselves. After a certain point, I have continual business and repeat clients and clients who get referred, which is wonderful and a blessing, but it takes time to get here. But there are and can be months where people go without receiving a paycheck, and you have to plan and budget accordingly. And especially when you live in California, when things are expensive, you can get a listing, you can work on it for 6 months, and then you have a seller that doesn't want to sell it, or something goes wrong and it falls out of escrow and it doesn't get sold before the listing contract ends. There's a number of ways in which something can fail. And I think that that's what listing agents have to prepare and prep for.
Oh my gosh, yeah, like, it could be feast or famine, like, there's no
Yeah,
rhyme or rhythm to it. Oh
absolutely.
my
Or when you're
gosh.
going up against another agent who wants to take a 1% listing commission, or who wants to do the job for almost free. And then you have a seller that's motivated purely by what they could save instead of the agent that they're working with. You could work so long on something and then walk away with nothing on it, which can be really disheartening. But I think that that's something that you learn over time too, is how to get over those moments and how to overcome the obstacles and then just have continual business.
Would you say that's probably, like, the hardest part that people never see?
There's so many different pieces to it. I see agents get in their own way a lot. The rich are rich for a reason. They are savages. They like to save. They're big negotiators. And I think that that's something, not every transaction is just a smooth ride. There are some moments when you really have to get creative with saving a deal or putting a deal together. That's where the experience of an agent really matters. There are so many different areas that you could look at and kind of dissect.
For sure. So I want to get into some of these homes because I have seen your stories and you have toured some incredible homes. What's the craziest feature that you've ever seen
Oh my
in a home?
gosh. There there are so many, especially when you're looking at, like, Rancho Santa Fe, for example, some of the largest estates I have ever witnessed. And one of my very first tasks was to go and show a guest house that was currently being leased. And I remember looking over the fence at this house thinking, okay, this is the main house. I got to get around to the back because the guest house has to be somewhere in the back. And the funny thing is the house was this main house that I was looking at, a 9,500 square foot home. And that was the guest house. But the things that I've seen, there are some unique ones. One of the most fascinating things I saw in a house that I believe was right around 23 million was in the primary bathroom. The husband and wife had a tub that was built into the ground. It would fill up from the bottom up, and the tub was actually created around the size of them. It was all stone. So if you can imagine looking down into the ground and seeing curvatures of
My gosh.
people, it was wild. There was one house I went into, and these owners had luxury felines and they had cat condos. And it wasn't just one of those that you'd see cats play with, but it was an entire room of this obstacle looking course that these luxury cats could go indoor and outdoor. The amount of
What
money that they spent, nuts.
I can't even. What lucky cats. Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
Yes. And then those tubs created for those people specifically, like,
Mhm.
it's so funny because whenever we do any upgrades to our home, we're thinking, oh, will this make it more sellable? A feature that somebody else will want. So if you create a tub that is just for you, like, they're not thinking of moving, or if they are, they're like, ah, we have money, we could just replace it or whatnot. But
Exactly.
I mean, good for them. Make it an enjoyable fit for you while you're there. I mean, that's great. I
Yeah. If you have the money, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
absolutely. What luxury feature do you think is actually worth the money? Like a
Oh,
cat
that's
condo?
yeah, right? No, I don't know if you get your return on a cat condo, which is funny.
Right.
Gosh, it completely depends on, of course, the buyer and what they value. If you're talking to a family, it can be completely different than if you're talking to a bachelor, for example. And we're seeing multiple garages. It's such a heavy drive community, and large kitchens are just always important. The type of appliances that are in kitchens matters, but
Mm.
from a amenity standpoint, I do think just a lot of space, and I think views tend to be important and prioritized, especially here in San Diego, or privacy.
Yeah, that makes sense. What you just said about, having the big kitchen and garages, even here in Denver, when we were looking at our home, we're like, okay, we don't want cars outside. And then the kitchen, that's just a place where everybody hangs out. So I love that that translates, whether that's luxury or not. That's, I think, important to everybody.
Definitely. Absolutely. It's always
Yeah.
probably top 3 most important things.
Yeah. So on the flip side, what's one luxury trend you think is overrated?
That's so tricky. I think following the design trends of whatever's in the moment is overrated, only because people think that whatever is popular right now is important. But to be honest, 5 years down the road, that style or that farmhouse look that everyone wants or is desiring right now won't be what's in. But I do think the overall design or exterior is completely subjective. I think that difference is good, which is nice. Oh, you know what we're starting to see come back is instead of the open layouts, everyone for a long period of time, and even now, depending on who you talk to, wants the open concept and what have you. But we're also starting to see a shift now where they want more privacy and where they want less openness and more rooms per se, just a designated
Hmm.
family room, a designated kitchen area. It's really interesting how we're kind of seeing that unravel.
That is really interesting. So, speaking of trends and markets, a lot of our listeners here are in Colorado, and you know both cities. How does the Denver market compare to San Diego? Do you see similar trends in terms of price and pace and buyer mindset?
Absolutely. I actually will get a lot of referrals. I have, whether it's Instagram followers or just people from my network, reach out to me who live in Colorado. And so often I'll end up giving referrals to one or two of my favorite agents. My sister just bought a house in Colorado, and it is wild how fast the Denver market is changing, how quickly it's growing, and just even the outskirts of it, the Golden area, the Lakewood area, the Cherry Creek area. The demand is high. I think you're seeing a lot of people move to Colorado. I think out there you equally need a healthy budget depending on what you're looking for if you're willing to put work into something versus new construction. And that market is actually extremely competitive. I was shocked when I started learning more about the home prices and what they're going for and understanding the process that she went through. She lost out on a number of homes because she didn't move quick enough. And I think that that's
Mm.
a big piece in working with the right agent too. Once she got connected to the agent that I recommended, they ended up getting into escrow pretty quickly.
Yeah, having the right agent is huge. So, I have to ask, would you ever consider coming back to Colorado and doing real estate here, or do you see San Diego as home for good?
That's a hard one. It's hard because my heart is with my family, and my family is obviously in Colorado. So I think it always is something that weighs heavy on me. My end goal is to actually own multiple homes. I don't think I could ever leave California, to be totally honest. I love the warm weather. I am not a snow girl. I do not like the mountains. I don't like being cold. So I think for a big chunk of the year, Colorado is not for me. But I do love Colorado in the same breath. At some point, our hope is to buy a place in Colorado to go out and visit occasionally. But I think, at least for the foreseeable future, we will definitely be staying in Southern California.
Oh, yeah. What a good goal to have. I love that. Okay. So, sweat community is wellness. Wellness is the heart of everything that we talk about. So, are there any Denver or Golden wellness spots that you still miss or that you would recommend somebody go try?
One of the classic bucket list spots is Red Rocks. I feel like a good workout if you can either do yoga on the rocks or if you can get out there and just do the stairs for an hour or run up and down all of the benches. That is, to this day, one of the best and hardest workouts, especially going back and having to deal with the altitude. Is
Altitude. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets me every time.
Oh my gosh, I know. And then I bet when you're in San Diego, you're like, wow, I could run on the beach for
Miles.
hours without this. Yeah, right,
Yes,
right.
exactly. That is exactly
Oh.
it.
So now San Diego. I'm literally going to be there when this airs. So I want your full guide, starting with fitness. Where do you recommend that I should try out to work out or any studios that I should not miss?
Yeah, absolutely. One of my go-to favorites is called Body Rock. It is a Pilates reformer studio. I know the owner personally. Her name is Stephanie. She is incredible. She started the franchise in the San Diego area and has a number of different locations that you can go to. Their reformers are actually known for being and having the most weight resistant options. It's a disservice to yourself if you do not include weight in your workouts. I also like any Yoga 6 studio yoga, hot yoga. I am such a fan. Some people like it, other people hate it, but I think Yoga 6, you can't go wrong. Outside of that, if you can get a walk on the beach for a few miles, that's a workout in and of itself. You won't be disappointed.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I will definitely try out Body Rock. I'm
You should.
excited about that. And I love that they incorporate strength training because I feel like then that's a pretty well rounded workout that you get there.
Yeah, it really is. You will be dead at the end of it and hurting, but it is so worth it and it is so good. My body transformed once I started doing those classes consistently and it felt so good.
Amazing. Okay, now we have to talk about food. Where am I eating? Give me the places that feel like San Diego to you, not just the touristy spots, but like where do you actually go?
Yeah, there are so many. I feel like San Diego has such a great food scene. One of my favorite spots is called Rosemary's. The owner's name is Nick. He's actually been featured a few times on either Selling Sunset or Selling the OC. He tends to cater a lot of our events. They have incredible sliders, hot chicken. It is so good. And there's something for everybody. I try to actually refrain from having it too often because I'm addicted to it. So highly recommend. Outside of that, if you're a fan of Mexican food, I love the taco stand. It's an authentic taco spot.
Amazing. It's so funny because I was going to ask for like taco
Yes,
recommendations and you just said the taco stand. I'm like, okay, you
so
got it
good. Y-
amazing.
You have to go. Yeah, you have to have Mexican when you're in San Diego. It's a different kind of Mexican
100%.
food than Colorado, but it's so good.
Being that close to Mexico, you have to have it. And then
Yes.
seafood and all the things.
Mhm.
Any beaches or neighborhoods or hidden gems? Like if someone just has a few days in San Diego, where would you recommend that are a must see?
Gosh, honestly, the beach scene is incredible. I always recommend people try to check out the Del Mar Beach. It is one of those beach towns that you can walk up from the beach and that you can go right into town. There's shops, there's restaurants, which is really nice. They actually have a really good food spot called Monarch. The whole restaurant will get quiet right at sunset. And then one of the employees will stand up and do a cheers, which is pretty incredible every day. So I recommend going there and you can just see the view and the water. If you go up north a little bit, Encinitas has an incredible beach. It's nice and clean. There's also great walking trails right around Cardiff. If you want to check out a beach that's more of a tourist attraction, you can go to the La Jolla Cove. You'll see a lot of sea lions there. That is more of a beach that you just kind of walk by, not necessarily a beach that you would lay on.
This is getting me so excited. And then I feel like I have to take the kids to see the sea lions on the beach,
Yes.
but the other ones, like for sure, for hiking and exploring and laying out.
You're gonna love it. It's just so nice. All of them are so kid friendly. You can't pick a bad beach really, and you can't go wrong. And I think that that's what makes San Diego so awesome.
Amazing. I wrote them all down.
Okay, perfect.
Sammy, you are so great. You made this trip feel so seamless, and I cannot wait to go out there.
I'm so excited for you. It's gonna be such a great trip.
Oh my gosh, you've got me so
I'll
pumped.
send you a whole list.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Okay, let's do a little rapid fire
Okay.
because that's like the fun part. Are you ready? Quick questions. First answer, top of your head.
Okay, let's go.
All right, let's go. Pilates or strength training?
Strength training.
Favorite room in a house?
The kitchen.
Yeah.
Hands
Dream
down.
vacation?
Anywhere warm and anywhere with a beach.
Amazing. I was going to ask you ocean or mountains, but I feel like I already know it's ocean.
Ocean. All the way. All the way. It's my favorite.
Oh, so good.
Yep.
One piece of advice for anyone thinking about making a big life or career move.
My gosh. I say do it. Weigh out the pros and cons, but really more often than not, it makes more sense to do it. If you're thinking about it, you're already putting it into play. Always take the leap. It's worth it.
Just take that leap. Best view in San Diego.
There are so many. I would say the Sunset Cliffs. That's probably one of the top spots that I recommend people go to. Or Torrey Pines, too, with the golf course, the greenery, and then the ocean. You can't go wrong.
Oh my gosh, so good. Zillow or open house?
That's so hard. I would say Zillow. That's such a good question. I love Zillow and I hate Zillow all at the same time. I think the Zillow Zestimate is not always accurate. Too many people rely on the Zillow Zestimate to determine the price of their home. But I think Zillow really is all encompassing and you can get a lot from Zillow at the same time. So it's a love hate relationship.
Yes. One word that describes San Diego.
Fun. It's so fun. It is so good.
You are fun. And last questions. How do you personally stay grounded in a job that is genuinely high pressure and high stakes? What are your non negotiables for keeping your head on straight?
My gosh, that is such a good question. I think in real estate, there are a lot of different things that come into play. You're working with a ton of different personalities from your own clients to the clients on the other side of the deal to the agent on the other side of the deal. It's really important to be a few steps ahead going into a transaction or going into an interaction with a goal in mind. Not getting wrapped up in the small little details is even more important. Also, not get too emotional. That can be the job of the buyer or the seller themselves. But when it comes to the agent, take emotions out of it and be logical. That's where working with a seasoned agent comes into play.
Yeah. having that agent that has your back is everything. So if anyone is listening here and they want to find you or get a hold of you, how do they find you?
You can find me online. You can call me, text me, email me. I'm on the Oppenheim Group. I'm one of the senior agents. You can also find me on Instagram at sammy.delora, or my website is sammysellsre.com. But I am pretty much everywhere. Or you can just Google me and you'll find my website too. And just to add on to that, I also can work with clients who are outside of the state of California. So if someone is looking to buy a house somewhere in a different state, I can also lead them to an agent that will help them, that is trusted, that I recommend, which can take a lot of pain out of their search.
You are fantastic. Thank you so much.
Of course, friend. Thank you. I appreciate your time. I'm so honored to be on here.
Oh my gosh, I appreciate your time. Thank you. What a fun conversation with Sammy. I love that this episode reminded us that community isn't just about where you work out, it's also about where you live, the local businesses you support, and the people who make the city feel like home. As this episode is airing, I'm spending the week in San Diego. So if you're listening from Southern California, I'd love to hear from you. Send me a message on Instagram and let me know your favorite workout class, coffee shop, restaurant, or hidden gem, and I might just add it to the itinerary. And if today's episode inspired you to explore a new city, try a new fitness studio, or simply appreciate the community you're already a part of, I'd love it if you shared with a friend. As always, thank you so much for listening, and be sure to head over to sweatcommunity.com to discover fitness studios, wellness events, and the amazing people building community. And as always, what made you sweat this week? Until next time, bye.